On this episode of the Third Gallon Podcast.
And he holds up to you a pickle.
After a fast and deadly fight with the Witcher Pardus.
Nug's breathing real heavy.
Mm-hmm.
He's staring at the Witcher's body.
You see the blood pooled around his little cat medallion on the ground as it soaks into the, underbrush here.
Intrepid Inc. says their goodbyes to Oberhasil and his troupe.
It seems that our time here is at an end. It is time for us to hit the road as a troupe.
You still can't make a play out of this. You can't.
And sets out again with the 5 Under 4 company.
Ready to go again?
Oh, oi.
Now this one's going to be fun, folks. We're heading towards the Mahakam mountain range.
Mahakam?
Mm-hmm.
Get ready for some downtime.
Nug takes off his pants immediately.
Nug strips.
Nug!
Now.
So I would like to report a hate crime today.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
I was on Twitter, which is a place.
Well, that was your first mistake.
Hear me out, all right? I was on Twitter, and the wonderful people who make this game, Talsorian Games, they were at a convention, and they tweeted out, about a podcast that they really like. They said it has one of the best homebrew Witcher stories or Witcher stories outside of the books and games. And it wasn't our show.
Well, we don't.
But you know what? The thing is, they're actually right, because we're not playing a homebrew game. We're playing the Book of Tales.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, the show is actually really good. I fake being outraged. I'm not actually, because the show that they were talking about is called Roll to Cast, and it actually inspired me to listen to it. And it is such a fun and amazing show. And it blew me away because these guys have a very similar format to us. They play different games and seasons, but they're more focused on kind of like the role play, kind of like an audio drama.
Yeah, very similar to an audio drama.
But not, and ours is more what it's like to actually sit down at the table with us and play. So there's a lot of banter, there's goofs and gaffs. We as a group really like rules, so we're focused on that. And I really enjoyed it. So I fake being upset, but I know I get what they're saying. And all of you guys listening out there, if you just cannot get enough of the Witcher RPG, may I humbly recommend giving Roll to Cast your secondary attention to us, because obviously we deserve the most attention.
Of course.
No, but really, it's a really good show. And discovering it, I binged the whole show in a weekend. That's how much I enjoyed it. But discovering that show made me realize that I know that all of us listening to podcasts, we fit them at different places in our life. And I wanted to go around the table here and ask what everyone likes to listen to. And I'm going to add a spin onto this. What podcasts are you currently listening to? I know we've talked about what we have listened to and what we do like to listen to. And if you're not listening to podcasts, maybe audiobooks or some other form of audio entertainment. And when do you consume it? So who wants to go first here?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So my favorite style of podcast, I've got two. I like actual play. I like horror.
Uh-huh.
And typically the horror is short stories. So if it comes to actual play, I've listened to The Adventure Zone, and Roaring Trainers was cool. They stopped for a good little bit. But of course, my favorite is
Roaring Trainers?
Oh, it's a Pokemon 5e podcast. At least they've done some new, they've restarted, and I haven't listened since then. So I don't have any opinions on the current version, but I liked the stuff they had before they lost some people and whatnot.
Right.
But my hands down favorite actual play podcast is, of course, the Glass Cannon podcast, and
great show.
A majority of the stuff they play. But when it comes to horror, I like the No Sleep podcast for short stories. I've mentioned the Magnus Archives a number of times.
Right.
Currently, I'm listening to The White Vault, which is an audio drama, but it's horror. And I I like horror and I like actual play, which, because I could list every podcast I've ever listened to, but I think I'll just stop with one more, probably the most unique one I've listened to, would be called Dark Dice. And once again,
yes.
I never keep up to date with most podcasts. I binge listen. The only podcasts I keep up to date on are the Glass Cannon Network's podcasts that I can. But Dark Dice, when I binged, they actually play the game. And it's a 5e horror game that the DM made. And he has voice actors who play the game. And then after they get done with a session, they go back and they do an audio drama of the session. So it's not, you get some clips of when they were playing themselves to get a little bit of what happens at the table and whatnot, but most of it is just a literal audio drama of what happened. And it reminds me a whole lot of like when Cat and Drow would write out the adventures that we had for our campaign.
I still miss that.
After we played that, because then they would write out like hundreds of pages of stuff of it was like reading a Star Wars novel based off of the movies.
You had to keep it in two Google Docs.
There were several, and they had links to one another. It was like it was like a series following a series.
Times.
Yeah, but it's Dark Dice has a very unique feel because it's an actual play, but it is actually an audio drama, and it combines the two things that I like to listen to the most.
So do they do an actual play and then they basically retell the story in audio drama form?
Yep, they will. And it's been a year or so since I listened. So, but like they'll have their lines, and then they'll go back, and the people who played those characters will redo their lines so it sounds like an audio drama. Right. And every once in a while, when they do fights, you don't hear them roll. You don't hear them talk about the damage a whole lot, maybe sometimes, but they describe the fight in audio drama form. Right. And you can tell, it's this person's turn. They're describing what happens. It's this person's turn. And because it's a horror and they take it very seriously, when someone dies, they don't magically get a new person in this dungeon with them. Right. They're gone. And it's intense as you kind of see people drop off bit by bit, and it's just very well done. I think it's very good.
Like, do they get the opportunity to come back in a town or something?
No, it's basically a dungeon crawl, and
forever.
And when they're dead, they're gone.
Yeah.
And I liked it because one of the voice actors in there who has a voice built for horror is one of the players in it, and he's from the No Sleep podcast. So that's actually I got shown this from a horror story podcast where one of the players joined in on this game, and I was impressed by it.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I'm going to spoil what I'm going to talk about, but that's similar to something Roll to Cast does with player characters dying and not being reintroduced. And I think that's super interesting, especially if you're approaching it from more of an audio drama thing.
Yes.
Because that's something that everyone who plays these games understands, but is really immersion breaking when you have to introduce new characters, especially when you're in the middle of some sort of dungeon or exploration thing. It's hard to just bring on someone else.
Yeah, but you gotta, because
it's a game. You know? Super cool. Kat?
Okay. So my listening is different, I would imagine, from everybody else's. I do listen to some actual play podcasts like the Glass Cannon and such, but I also enjoy listening to reviews and theories and stuff like that. I have lately, because it's hard to find podcasts right now, I have been going through YouTube and not watching so much as just listening, like YouTube is a podcast type thing. I like the Food Theorists. I like to listen to a streamer called Brew. I like Ants Canada. I like Fish for Thought.
Ooh, I like Ants Canada.
Cinema Therapy. I like stuff like I watch a person called who calls himself Glock9 who just basically plays 7 Days to Die. I like this podcast that Jacob's older brother got me on called Disorder, and they will review Disney movies in order, like every single official one. And now they're going back through and doing some not less official type ones that they just like, and it's fun to hear their opinions. I also like science-y and fact stuff. I'm a little bit different. I like all that type of thing. Those types of things. I just find them fascinating. I could sit for hours like reading articles about actual nonfiction and learning things.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I listen to.
Nice. Yeah. I feel that I also use YouTube as a podcast vector. I think all of us at the table have the YouTube Premium where you can listen to it in the background on your phone.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's super duper useful. Drow, what you listening to these days?
Am I listening? Do I hear? Does anything listen?
Yeah, you.
I'm
Yeah.
listening to r/. I like his "Am I the Asshole" series. I think it's really
Am I the
funny.
asshole?
It's really funny. It makes me feel better about questioning myself, because I'll do something and I'll be like, yeah, that's totally justified, and then like 3 days later I'll be like, wow, I did something that was terrible. And it turns out usually I was justified.
So you like a lot of Reddit reads then?
Yeah, I like Reddit reads. I also like watching Warframe streams on Twitch. I'll watch these really late game players and I'll just be like, wow, I can't understand a single fucking thing that's going on this screen, but they're
man.
schmoovin'.
I know
They're fucking
smack.
schmoovin'.
Whenever I feel that, because whenever I was getting really into Payday 2 way back in the day,
Goodness.
I remember watching people blitz, I think it was rats, on the hardest difficulty at the time, which was only it was the 4-skull one back then, and being just like flummoxed with their skill. And then I played 700 hours of Payday 2.
Disgusting.
So I know you like to listen to a lot of Reddit reads. Is you only do like Am I the Asshole, or do you have any other subreddit reads that you like to listen to?
I like D&D horror stories too.
You've also shown me a good number of other like
SCP
horror
readings.
Yeah,
Oh,
SCP
God.
readings and
What is
horror
it?
readings.
The Volgoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. They do a very nicely voiced over, like a briefing-esque read through of SCP entries. It puts a realistic fear into you, because you are being talked to as though you're about to go face these things.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. I appreciate that a lot.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Nice. I guess I'll go last here. I know we've talked a lot about the things we listen to.
I want to go last.
You already went. We talked a lot about like Glass Cannon stuff, because they're a really big inspiration for us, and they're one of the bigger ways we've got into actual plays. I think my first one was like the Adventure Zone, but Glass Cannon, I think I've consumed the most.
Adventure Zone.
I think I've consumed the most of them. But currently what I'm listening to besides Glass Cannon stuff is Roll to Cast, like I mentioned. That's ROLE to cast. Their Witcher season is phenomenal. And it's just a totally different type of thing.
Yeah, if you listen to Roll to Cast and you listen to us, we're not similar at all.
We are not the same.
We are not the same.
No, but like it's good because you can get in a rut with the kind of things you listen to. And especially if you're making a podcast, you have less time to listen to things. And so finding new ways to do actual play type of content is super cool, and it's very inspiring. So I like Roll to Cast, but I also don't just listen to actual plays. I'm also pretty big into tech stuff, and I listen to the
LTTstore.com.
Yeah, LTTstore.com. I listen to the WAN show every week. They stream it. It's a live stream basically, but it is recorded as a podcast too. I almost always listen to it live. And if I can't, then I will listen to it like the next day. I love the WAN show because it's my only chance to see Luke and Linus together talking, and it just makes my day. And I've been listening to that for years, and I still do. I've also been working through a Blades in the Dark podcast. It is part of Glass Cannon Network, but none of the like.
How is that one?
It's pretty good. I've really been enjoying it. None of the people from the OG Glass Cannon podcast are on it. There's 2 guys from Stream of Blood after they merged that are on it. And it's just, I love Blades in the Dark. And if Jared is running a Blades in the Dark game, it almost doesn't matter who is in it, because Jared runs such a good Blades in the Dark game, but the people they got in it are really good. I'm not done with it yet. They just got through like their first score, and it's so much fun. That system is beautiful. And last but not least, I just finished listening to, this is Glass Cannon content, but Androids and Aliens. And that was really cool for me because you listen to a lot of actual play content, but it's very rare for a series to finish, a big series. Like when Adventure Zone finished their balance arc, that was a big deal.
And it was so good.
Oh, it was amazing. And then also, listening to Androids and Aliens do their series finale was awesome.
I can't wait. I'm saving it. And
on that note, just think 10 weeks from now, GCP 1.0 might be over.
Oh yeah. I can't wait because we've, as a group, we've only had one campaign have an actual like ending. Yeah. Sure, Forbidden Lands had an ending, but our endings in our seasons are not going to always be as narratively heavy hitting because that way we played it for half a year. And though it was, a good ending, I think it's not nearly the same as when you play a game for how long did Hawthorne go on? 6 years, something like that.
Since we started.
Yeah.
Until about a year ago.
Yeah. I think it was about a year ago when it ended. That was such a big moment because even if we didn't have a super big like narrative set piece to end it on, just wrapping up all the little loose ends and stuff that you have hanging off of a campaign that long is such a cool thing. And hearing a podcast do that is great too. I'm on a long tangent now, but yeah, I love listening to things and listening to podcasts. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it really helps me have the motivation to do a lot of the busy work in life. Like I enjoy cooking, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mind cleaning, but cooking and cleaning and doing things around the house go by so much better.
Oh yeah.
When you have something to listen to.
Wholeheartedly agree. That's when I get my listening done.
Oh, for sure.
Because when I have to do my actual work, because it requires so much mental effort, I'm basically listening to like instrumentals and lo-fi for basically concentration purposes.
Yeah, I agree because I even have a hard time listening to just like music when I'm like working.
I can't have lyrics to focus on like mentally stimulating challenges.
There's another thing that I listen to that I forgot to mention, which is the Albert Inn.
Oh yeah. We've rated them on Twitch.
We've rated them a few times. I'm actually guest starring in their Sunday campaign right now.
Nice.
Oh, rating's good.
So you go on the streams with them, right?
I go on the streams with them.
Nice.
You can find me there every so often.
Oh man. Yeah, Albert Inn's pretty great. I haven't listened to them.
The bar drinking. I was about to say drinking the tavern, but that's
drinking the tavern. You heard it here, folks.
That's right.
I haven't got the chance to listen to them because there's not a lot that I listen to that's like streamed content, but the people on that channel are really good. And
Ethan always looks spot on.
There was something you said to one of them that just deflated them. It was so funny.
Wait, Ethan?
Not that Ethan.
Not
sadly.
the whore?
No, not the whore.
Okay.
Different Ethan. Ethan 2.0. Ethan bit better. If you hear me first time,
no.
Ethan, then you've been replaced. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. No.
Ethan isn't friend anymore. Ethan is now new friend.
Friendship with Ethan ended. Now Ethan is my best friend.
So what happened was we were talking about it was Hate Laugh Love, which is their every other Friday show where they just talk about movies and stuff. And we were mentioning splitting things up into unnecessary sequels, brought up The Hobbit. And I was like, I think The Hobbit should have just been one movie.
Okay.
And, and I was like, 2 would have been pushing it. And Ethan was like, yeah, you could have a good 2 if you had like some Silmarillion in there for flavor. And I said, Silmarillion in there for flavor? That's like adding rice for flavor. Just the face that he made.
Because
rice.
You could hear his entire train of thought expecting me, building up and expecting me to agree. And then I said that.
Well, it's like you said that and then one of the guys started laughing.
That was Murray.
Like quietly. And then him, like his face just looked defeated as soon as you said that. Oh, it was great. Well, Well, we shouldn't, put our listeners through any more of our pining for listening to other things. Otherwise, they'll leave the show. With that out of the way, are you guys ready to get into our game of The Witcher?
Nah.
You ready to get back in? Because we got a lot to do.
Oh, no, I'm not ready at all.
Of The Witcher.
We got a lot to do this episode, so let's go ahead and let's buckle up and get back into it. Long ago, the worlds collided in a cataclysm known as the conjunction of the spheres.
Cheers.
Chaos filled the world as vampires, ghouls, trolls, humans, and other monsters poured into the world.
Monsters.
The Witchers, mutated by magic and alchemy, were created by human mages to stem the tide.
The tide.
Hundreds of years later, monsters were rare, but evil remains. As war ravages the northern kingdoms, dangerous monsters lurk without and within. In the world of the Witcher. I was just listening recently to whenever Kat interrupted me with
Best thing
For 300
ever.
years.
I planned that, you should know.
now the mist is gone. Wait.
I planned that. Thought about what moment would be the best moment. Hoped you would pause enough for me to throw it in there. I'm still proud of that.
Sweet vengeance. When we last left Intrepid Incorporated, the Bionicle Hunter Inc., you
Bionicle
guys
Inc.
had defended this theater troupe of
children and a
teenagers.
monster.
And teenagers
child.
and a Sylvan. You had defended them.
What is a teenager but an adult child?
Oh no. Child at the late stage of life.
Child plus.
Child, comma, late.
Child, comma, greater.
Child, comma, greater.
Giant, child.
Adult, comma, lesser.
Oh no.
These,
Why is comma a huge part of our humor?
Because of Pathfinder.
Because in Pathfinder, you can't ever just look up the base monster like giant, because it's always like, if you look up ice giant like in the book, you
Giant,
won't find it.
comma, ice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Or
so,
dragon, comma,
Red.
or
yeah,
Gold.
chromatic or whatever.
chromatic.
But you'd found this group. All these people, had left their homes for one reason or another. It kind of tending to be not being satisfied with the life that was in front of them. And they had found a bit of meaning here in this acting troupe. You got to watch their play. It was pretty good, actually.
But mother, father, I don't want to be a seamstress. I want to act.
What is
If
that Monty
only-
Python bit? I just want to sing. No, cut that out.
If only my husband's feet were big enough to dance all night long.
Why'd you have to remind me of that?
There's always something left to remind me.
So you had found them, and then you had taken on the task of convincing the neighboring towns, that everything was all hunky-dory, and it had gone well. You went back to Riverbend and talked to the priest, Tabbert, and then the parents of Macklin and Winnie. Then you went to the dwarf mining town. Well, it's not all dwarves, but still. The one where
It was
Tomard
mostly.
was. There's a lot of dwarves there. You had a big raucous party. Viverwin flashed people. Ineth got blackout drunk.
We got matching tramp
I
stamps.
beat the dwarves in drinking.
Ineth was Nug was surprisingly tame. And then you came back here.
Somebody had to be.
You came back here, and there was an issue. Someone was in the Alderwood, and it ended up being a Witcher that was sent to hunt the monster, quote, quote, taking these children.
Well, I mean, there is a monster.
There is a monster, but he's not taking anyone, and he's a sapient being. And so you couldn't convince him otherwise, and a fight broke out. Things were looking not so great, and then he got stunned, and Nug murdered him.
The best bottle caps I've ever used.
Nug really murdered him.
And of course, it had to be Nug, the one person in the party the most averse to killing a Witcher.
Yep.
Lawyer, Nug said.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, it's episode 15.
You're right.
It's an odd number.
We got it wrong last time. I think we had to do XP in 14. But you're right. We do have to do XP or IP. Because you fought and defeated a Witcher, which is quite the threat, especially for 3 players, I'm going to hand out 7 IP instead of our standard 6.
Hot dog.
So I know you just got it here, but do you want to go around and does anyone want to talk about like what they're planning to spend it on?
Even more spell casting.
Even more spell casting? What is your spell casting at now?
6.
Dang. So you spent 5 to get it up to 6, and you have 2 more in reserve?
Yeah.
Dang.
I spent so much.
So your like base spell casting is around 16 now, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. That's pretty good. Nug.
I upped one of my profession skills, which cost me 4 points.
Would this be the
Shrug it off.
Shrug It Off? Okay.
Yep.
Is that the first one?
That's the third one.
The third one. What does that one do again?
It helps me negate criticals,
Oh,
which could be very useful.
that's very spicy. What is it at now?
5. Actually, all of the skills that I have points in are at 5. My top one, tough as nails, and then the 3 down the right-hand skill tree for the men at arms.
Okay, so what is your base for that? Is that a body skill?
For shrug it off, it is body. Yes.
So that'd be base 15 when you get to roll it, right?
Yeah, which isn't bad.
That's pretty good. Kat, what you got going on with Ineth?
I was debating taking up Pinpoint, but there's a big part of me that just wants to use my juicy new IP to boost my crafting.
Your crafting skill, right?
Yes, which is only at 6. So,
Oh, wow. So you could take it up to 7, which is a big deal.
But don't I have to spend double on crafting?
Is it one of the ones with the asterisk?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have to save it if that's what I choose to do.
Oh, that's right. For
Yeah.
spellcasting. So you had to save 12 IP to get it up to, or 10 IP to get up to 6, right?
Yeah.
Chunky. Spellcasting expensive.
Oof. Yeah, it is. Dang.
And that's why I've not upped my crafting in so long.
Yeah. Alrighty. So hold on to that then, and next time you'll get to send it up another level. Okay. With that out of the way, why don't we pick back up? Again, the fight has just ended. You've killed the Witcher. Now you get to rifle through his pockets for loose change.
I kick him.
Let's set the scene here.
First, you gotta get Nug off the top of him. Nug is currently lying on top of his corpse because he shoved his sword into his chest and then like fell on top of him.
Really?
If I remember correctly, that's how I described it. It was like a torso shot, so he just like super stabbed and twisted and like shoved him over, I think.
Well, we can say he fell off your sword. It is very sharp, if you
Okay.
like. So you see him on the ground, dead. The blood flowing out of him. His heart's stopped beating. You just destroyed him with your critical. The group of teenagers are still behind the barricade, and they peek over, and Oberhasil says, "That's it. He's dead."
Nug's breathing real heavy.
Mm-hmm.
He's staring at the Witcher's body.
You see the blood pooled around his little cat medallion on the ground as it soaks into the like underbrush here.
Nuggle, he'll pause and then he'll look over at the beastie and the children.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like, "You can't tell anyone about this man dying. You hear me? Witchers don't take kindly to people killing their own. At least not always. So you need to keep this to yourself."
I understand the danger it would put you at, and I will respect your wishes.
Yes.
Thank you. We owe you a great deal.
This definitely cannot become a play.
Well,
This
No.
definitely cannot become a play.
my people will talk to your people. We'll
All right, we need to.
You know what? Maybe we made the wrong decision.
We
Maybe he
to
should have been killed.
get a lawyer. Get this written up.
Let me roll for craft lawyer.
Craft law.
Are you going to make a lawyer on the spot?
Gasp.
All right, let's get to it.
So what do you want to do now?
Empathy 0.
I'm gonna brace my foot on this bitch's chest and pull off his medallion. This shit is mine now.
Okay. Yeah, you take it off. He has a cat's head medallion.
Nug will gently give Viverwin a nudge off of the Witcher's body, and he'll be like, I didn't like him either, but ain't no sense in insulting the dead. Or in treating his body this way.
Why? He's not using it anymore.
I just don't feel right to me. He'll start rifling through the Witcher stuff and removing anything that could be important or usable.
All right.
Should we bury the body?
That's what I plan on doing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Witcher, so he is loaded up with goods. Obviously, he had his medallion on him, which Viverwin took. But he has a Witcher's steel sword and a Witcher's silver sword.
Please tell me about the steel sword.
Oh, would you like to know? So these swords are pretty good. They're not the best in the game. I think Nug's weapon is technically better. Let me pull it up here.
Yes, but I have an iron sword.
Yeah.
So please tell me about it.
But for starting out, it's really good for not having to buy it. Witchers just get them. A Witcher's steel sword does, of course, piercing and slashing, has +0 weapon accuracy, but does 4d6 +2 damage.
Nice.
One-handed weapon with a reliability of 15.
One-handed means I could use a shield?
Yeah.
And it has armor piercing, and it is also a meteorite effect, which doesn't matter for this game, I think. There's rules about things vulnerable to like meteorite damage or silver, but we don't think we're using that.
There I went spending all that money to buy the stuff to build my own sword, and you just plopped one in my hands.
I didn't do it. Pondsmith did it.
Pondsmith, and Pondsmith.
And then there's also the Witcher's silver sword, which will do 1d6 +2 normal damage, and then 3d6 silver damage.
How much? 1d6 normal, 3d6 silver?
1d6 +2 normal damage, 3d6 silver damage. I know.
The question
Nug's cord is better than that sword, which is hilarious.
I know.
Should we even use this sword because it clearly belonged to a Witcher?
Well,
Could you deface it?
does it clearly belong to
Or
a
would we
Witcher?
have to like melt it?
The silver sword is very iconically a Witcher sword. And I would say his steel sword is also pretty trademark, but it's closer to a normal weapon. You would have to do some work to remove any sort of cat school emblems on it. And even then, maybe the shape of the blade. Witcher swords are often described as just razors. I'm not a metallurgist or a smith, but I imagine there's a certain blade shape that Witcher swords take that may not be common otherwise. But if you just got rid of the cat school markings on it, you would probably be fine enough.
Because I'm sure with her skill, Inef could take care of that.
Sure, I wouldn't even require a roll for it, honestly. You've already made yourself an iron sword, so...
Nug will say, well, we've already got me with my medallion, so us having Witcher gear isn't too much of a surprise, I suppose. I don't see any reason why we couldn't use swords. Anyone asks, we just won't tell them. Don't be tight-lipped.
Oh, I can change the look of the sword.
Oh, aye.
Also, he has a double woven hood and a double woven gambeson and Lyrian leather trousers. I don't think any of that is worth it to you guys.
Oh.
All of you have some pretty stout armor, especially at this point.
I have double woven trousers,
Actually,
brigantine, and a double woven hood.
those Lyrian leather trousers?
Yeah.
That's pretty good armor right there.
No, do you want them?
Oh, I could tailor those for you.
Or
Take off several inches.
Nug takes off his pants immediately.
Nug strips. Actually, if no one else wants them, that would give me a extra +4 SP on Nug's armor if we could get the alteration done to them.
You are the most melee-based character of our team. You're the heavy hitter.
Yeah, that and Nug has already gotten 1 damage on one of his legs, which isn't much, but like...
Right.
No, it would make sense.
Yeah, Nug will take them if nobody else wants them.
All right, so mark that down, and then we'll deal with, reshaping them and crafting them in a bit.
I like
Yeah.
having armor that's easily fixed. I like that for my character. Like my double woven trousers are actually quite easy. Double woven things are easy to fix.
And I don't know, do you remember seeing rules in crafting for this game where you can break down items into components?
There is such a thing. I just don't remember where, but you can break it down.
Because if you wanted to, the double woven hood and gambeson, you could potentially break it down into components that you could use to repair, I think it's your armor and Viverwin's armor.
I'll look for it real quick. I remember where I saw it.
Cool. Other than that, he has one Samum bomb, which is that stun grenade he threw at you. That's the thing he tried to stun, I believe, Eineth and Viverwin with. He has 6 potions, 3 of the same types. I would tell you what they were.
We don't know.
But you don't know Witcher stuff unless you want to roll for it. But he has 6 total potions. And I would say that there's 3 different ones, and he has 2 of each. He has those potions. He has his bandolier, his belt pouch, and then the medallion, of course.
Okay, so I found in the fixing and salvaging portion on page 140, you can disassemble a weapon or piece of armor, breaking it down into the components that made it. However, you will damage them so that you get back 1/2 of the components, minimum 1 each.
Okay, so you can get it, but you would get half the components back.
Yes, minimum 1.
Cool. So if you want to look at that for any of the items, specifically, I guess the armor, you can go ahead and do that. But yeah, that's what he has on him.
Also, any crowns on him?
There's no money on him.
Okay.
Important thing to note is he does have those potions, like I said. Nug, you see real Witcher potions on this Witcher. What do you do?
Me pa always said the Witcher's got potions that can make them do extraordinary things. But me pa also said if you's not a Witcher and you drink them, you die. So I'm a hold on to these. But I don't think I'm going to risk anything. I ain't too keen on dying.
See, that's what I thought was going to happen. It's like maybe they'll defeat him, but then I'll kill Nug because he'll drink one of them.
Oh yeah, I am a Witcher. Gulp.
Glug.
If it's swallow, he might survive. He'd probably survive. Anything else, he would die.
You're just like, haha, glug, flump, dead.
Here lies Nug, what's a Witcher for all of a second, then it caught up with him.
Durgamir would be so proud of him.
Does Witcher style cross self?
Pour one out for Nug.
Pour one out for Nug.
It's a swallow.
It's the same potion that killed him. Have a second dose, you filthy animal.
I'm gonna be taking that sword, but I can't find it in the gear.
It's not in the Game gear. Master section.
Yeah, no, it's in the Witcher gear is in the Witcher section of the core rulebook. That's page 247.
Thank you.
After you rifle through his pockets for loose change,
does he have a rifle?
No, but he does have a revolver. Oh wow!
Durgamir would love this.
And a cowboy hat.
Michael?
Howdy.
Who?
Durgamir crawls out of his skin. Well.
Looks like God won't let me die.
It looks like Krieve won't let me die.
Like Keith won't let me die.
God damn it, Keith.
So Nug will strip this guy of his stuff.
Real sexily and slowly.
And then Nug will pull his body to the edge of the clearing and start digging a hole.
Okay.
And until he gets large enough, he'll put him in it. And he'll stand over the body in the hole. This man that he just killed, ideally, if he had not spoken to Nug and Nug had seen him in the streets, a hero.
Right.
Until he actually showed what he was like as a person.
Right.
And Nug will be like, I'll say a couple of words, even if he's just there by himself.
Right.
I don't know if he is, but he'll be like, me pa always said Witchers had a good job, that they was necessary. Almost too good. People's thinking we don't need them anymore, but there's still monsters around. I wish I didn't have to do this. And then he'll bury him. We'll cover him up.
You bury him, you cover him up. Are you going to take the sword?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We've taken his stuff. This is just his body.
You put maybe a few rocks to mark the site.
Yeah.
He's naked.
Yeah.
We took his pants.
He's got little cat head underwear.
And his armor.
Yeah, we took it. Nug will be like, well, he's a witcher. You can't let good tools go to waste.
You know what they say?
Speaking of which, another fun question. I know you probably would have mentioned it, but I have to ask.
Okay.
Did he have any diagrams on him?
He did not.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have mentioned that otherwise.
Because I'm sure our craftsman would have loved some cat school diagrams.
Yeah.
That would be pretty spicy, but unfortunately he does not. Yeah, well, you know what they say, though, with witchers, no witcher has ever died of old age in his bed.
Yep.
So you bury him, and then the troupe have kind of, unbarricaded their little area, and it looks like they're having a discussion. And the Oberhasil, the Sylvan, he waves you guys over, and he says, I thank you for taking the time to make peace with the towns, but it seems that our time here is at an end. It is time for us to hit the road as a troupe.
You still can't make a play out of this. You can't.
Well...
No.
I'll just say it
Oh,
this
you've
way.
been sworn to silence.
If you make a play about a dead witcher and people hear about a missing witcher, it might put two and two together.
I
and
would
you
never.
might have more witchers on your tail than you know what to do with.
All right, group huddle, creative huddle. What if
No.
we make a play about it, but
No.
it's not a witcher.
No.
It's something else.
No.
And it's not you guys.
Stop.
It's something else.
Stop.
What?
What? You know what? You just do you.
All right, I have no desire to kill another witcher in my life.
I'm
If
just
another
saying,
witcher comes after you,
if we could
that's on you.
license your likenesses.
no.
Okay.
Okay.
But he says, no, it's time for us to hit the road. Our troupe is ready to perform. And clearly, we can't stay here anymore. The protection of the Alder Wand isn't enough, and if it's not going to protect us, we may as well find our way performing on the road.
I mean, it protected you from everyone else, and now there's one less witcher to worry about.
I mean, if we talked to the third town, you'd probably be A-okay.
But if they were willing to send a witcher after us.
To find their kidnapped kids who were stolen by a monster, Nug looks at him just blinking, like he's kind of done with it. He's like, I thought you kidnapped their kids. It's why you'd ask us to speak to them, isn't it?
If you would like to speak to them, you're more than welcome, but I'd pay you without talking to the last town, because it's time for us to leave.
You should really encourage...
You pay us, we'll go through, we'll mention it to them.
You should really encourage the kids that you work with to speak to their parents.
Well, they did,
Not the third town kids yet, right?
But they said the third town kids, I think I mentioned it last time, specifically did not want to go back.
Oh, okay. That's right. We can't make them. Yeah.
I don't know if we got into the details of why they left their individual parents and towns.
I think you did mention it. It's just been a hot minute.
But they specifically did not want to go back to see their parents. Like Macklin and Winnie, they did.
Yeah.
Ambrose Bartok, he went back, and that was a whole party. But these two did not want to go back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But he says, it'll take us some time to pack everything up together, but it's time for us to hit the road. I believe he promised you guys 200 crowns.
I believe he promised us the same amount we was going to be paid by the Priest of Keith plus 30 each. The Priest of Keith promised to pay us, and Nug's he's gotten back into business, 250 for bringing the kids back, and then 200 crowns for killing the monster what kidnapped them.
We didn't do that, so...
No, but he promised it, and we didn't kill him. So that's 450 crowns.
Well, no, he promised to match what you're
90.
going to be paid to kill him, if I remember right.
Oh,
I thought so.
The Witcher?
No, he promised.
Because the Witcher is going to get paid a lot.
You were offered 200 for killing the monster,
and then 250 for bringing the kids back.
and he said, "I'll pay you, 200 the bounty on me.
Oh, no. That's right. I suppose you're correct. So that's going to be 320. 320.
320.
Oh, no. Wait. 390. No, 290. 290. My math was wrong.
So yeah, go ahead. It'll be 200 plus the 30 each bonus. So yeah, 290 divided 3 ways.
That is 96.6 repeating, obviously. Leroy Jenkins.
Take 96 crowns each.
We'll leave 1 crown on the Witcher's grave.
The next
Toss
question.
a coin.
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
And that's it.
Are we keeping
not
or
gonna do anything else.
or salvaging the silver sword?
Why would we salvage the silver sword? You
I'm
should
only
use
asking.
that.
I've got the meteorite sword,
Yeah, that doesn't do anything against monsters.
but it's,
Well, it's not in our game. You should keep the silver sword in case we run into monsters, so you could do extra damage to them as well.
I mean, I could,
Or may
Sell
I
it.
may I suggest you could also if you salvage the silver sword, you will get silver.
Enough silver to coat
to
another
coat
blade.
my sword and not be obviously walking around with a Witcher's sword. That's why I asked about salvaging it.
True. Why don't... Okay,
Hey.
this is
Because, like,
this is a bit metagamey of a question, but at this point, why don't the Witchers just pay semi-competent craftsmen to
Like
make
I
one
know.
sword that kicks butt rather than 2 separate swords?
Because it's part of their image to carry
it's the
2
old
swords, right?
ways. It's the old ways.
Isn't that their image that they have 2 swords?
Well, there's 2 answers to this. Well, actually, there's only really one answer.
Then say it.
The answer is silver coating is really strong, and silver coating is not in the books and games.
I know.
You have to have 2 swords in those. One is specifically designed for monsters. The other one is just specifically designed for everything else.
I know.
But silver coating in this game is really strong, and there's no reason to not just buy a badass sword and silver coat it and not have to switch
Awesome,
weapons.
and it's one of my favorite parts of playing INF. The ability to do that is kind of awesome.
If I had not
Witcher Light.
already spent my bottle cap, I was looking at buying an even better sword and just silver coating that one.
You have enough silver to do that.
Yeah, but I don't have enough money because the next best blade is like just under 1,000.
I might want some silver coating.
Oh yeah,
No, you have enough silver to like coat your Switcher steel sword, which is just hilarious. And then coat another sword, if I remember right.
Well, no, you get half the silver.
Steel sword?
And the silver sword
Silver
uses
sword?
2. It gives you
2.
2.
So I would
Super
only get
swords.
I would get 2. Yeah, because it's 4. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Myneth just dipping the steel sword into silver. We're talking about efficiency now.
Dip, potato
It's about
chip.
drive. It's about power.
Oh, it's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour. Put in the work. Put in the hours, and take what's ours. You know.
Don't ya know?
So, do you want to break it down and let
I'd love to break it down.
I shall break down the silver sword.
Okay. Do you have to roll crafting for that, or is it just a gimme?
I couldn't tell. It didn't say I had to roll.
All right, there. Then you're fine.
Also, I think it's great. It's efficient, Just going to take these 2 weapons, melt them into one. That's better.
Geralt wishes.
Geralt in the background is crying.
Geralt, why didn't they write me with the silver dipped cord?
Poor Gary.
Gary and his world. So you're gonna silver coat the Witcher sword, the steel sword, and remember that has special properties already. It's meteorite, although I don't think that matters for us, and it's armor piercing. Are you also going to augment it?
Yes. Attempt at least.
So what do you want to do augmentation wise? You think?
Probably increase the reliability.
With the reliability? The reliability's already at 15.
No, I mean the weapon accuracy.
Weapon accuracy, so lighten it. And do we want to go ahead and do this right now? Get our crafting rolls on the sword out of the way, or do you want to pick up with...
Depends, DM. Do we have a fight before our downtime?
Depends, DM. Do we get our bottle caps?
That is a good point. You do. I'll let you all take a bottle cap as well.
For reals?
Yeah.
I already got mine.
The role play was great, especially in the drunken stuff, and then beating a Witcher is just really impressive. Anytime. So take your bottle caps. And that is a good point. We are going to be moving into downtime. And what I want to know is, what do you as the players want to do?
So we'll want to be shoving that stuff into the downtime whenever we have that.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. All right, then. So to kind of wrap things up, Oberhasil goes over to Viverwin, and he says, "You, mage, I just wanted to say, I know that your group didn't trust me in the beginning and my intentions, and I understand. But you defended us, and you helped make peace with this town."
2 towns.
Yeah, excuse me. With these 2 towns.
Well, one's a mine, I suppose.
It's a town.
Okay, it's a town.
It's a town.
We
Since
partied with them. They're a town.
we are leaving the Alderwood, and we're heading on the road.
Am I about to get the Alder Wand?
Is this?
I wanted to offer this
Is this a pickle?
on top of the payment I already offered to you guys. And he holds up to you a pickle.
I'm going to lean down without using my hands and just swallow the whole thing.
Swallow pickle.
Swallow pickle.
No, he holds
Try pickle butthole.
Try head.
Try head.
If you can't tell, Jacob has been playing Elden Ring recently.
The messages is the best part.
So everything is try pickle, offer dog.
You guys have
Why
no
is it always dog?
You guys have no idea how many Elden Ring messages have already been cut from this episode.
No, but he offers you the Alder Wand.
Wow.
Would you like to roll something? Let's see, what would be a appropriate skill?
No, I'm
for
just going to
that?
snap it in half.
Why not-
Not to pickle.
Let me rephrase this. Why don't you roll magic training on the pickle?
Yes, let me remove choice from my RPG.
Sometimes you have to do things in the player's best
What is
interest.
this spell casting? Is
I
this
said-
hex weaving?
No, I said roll magic training. That's your sorcerer's skill. So that would be your
All right,
intelligence
profession
plus,
skill.
Yeah, plus your magic training skill. Oh,
36.
whoa, that's 2 exploding
Not
10s.
only do we know what it does, now it does more.
Legends say it is a section of an ancient Leshen's root severed by the final moment of the conjunction, and that a portion of its magic is trapped inside. It is a focus 2 and greater focus wand.
Ooh.
It's not even as good as my fucking staff.
Yeah, but it might have another effect.
It has focus 2 and greater focus.
Oh, that's it.
And then the special ability for the Alder Wand is it grants the holder the ability to basically see other creatures at a great distance in the Alderwood and selectively grant immunity or otherwise to people in the Alderwood. The Alderwood is an inherently magical primordial forest, and you can basically pick people to who it won't affect.
And so it lets us see other creatures in the Alderwood and
to pick who's immune to the magical effects of the Alderwood. You basically have...
like the misty stuff isn't necessarily the wand. It was the wand that allowed them to not be affected by the Alderwood.
Right.
That's cool.
Okay.
And you can see and hear anywhere in the forest when you use the wand.
That's pretty cool. If only this adventure take place primarily in the Alderwood and we weren't probably about to leave it.
Yeah.
Thanks for this item.
You take the wand, you hold it, flip your hand over and say,
The boy who lived come to die.
points at the witcher, the boy who lived, come to die.
That's a man.
All right, so with that, and I know we've kind of been trending this direction already, let's go ahead and transition to downtime. The big question I want to pose to you guys is, what does your group want to do? You've solved this problem in this town, and this troupe's about to hit the road. Your friends, the 5 Under 4, are visiting at the mining company. Yeah, you could, always hitch a ride with them. You could also hitch a ride with the troupe if you want to just travel, or you could set out on your own. What is your group interested in doing?
I don't think I want to go with the kids.
No, I'm not babysitting.
Who will pay us to look after them?
Yeah.
We make pretty good money as hired muscle.
Yeah.
This Uberman seems to have cash.
Well, to be fair, you didn't make a lot of money directly from Tomard. He only paid you about 100 a pop for about a month, which is decent, but it's not great. The most money you made was your side businesses and finding Bill's trading company's remains.
But also traveling with Tomard and crew was actually really interesting too.
That and they would have gotten their asses handed to them by that cockatrice.
Oh, totally.
Listen, if Tomard will take us wherever they're going next, I say we go with them.
Okay.
If they'll pay us.
I'd rather go with them than the teenagers
Do teenagers scare the living shit out of you?
for multiple reasons.
So here's the thing. They're going to clean up your looks with all the lies in the books to make a citizen out of you.
I think this is like the 4th time we've made this joke. Who knows how many times it's actually made it into the show. All right, so what's going to happen then is after a few days, or rather, let's say after about a week, Tomar is going to head out. The way things are going to happen is the troupe is packing and getting their stuff together. And then I don't know where you guys are going to be setting up shop, but if you go back to the mining company, they are actually the first place the troupe visits to put on a performance. Because, you know,
they have a good relation already.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Ambrose was the one who his dad was there.
Excited to see him.
Yeah. And he wanted to go and do his own thing, but his dad was like super
against it.
Whenever he found him again, he was like, you do your thing. I'm just happy I got to see you. Big party, you know. So they go there for their first like test show. Let's set a scene here real quick.
Nug goes to a edge wall, like when you're about to enter the mine, and writes on the dirt, try finger, comma, butthole.
No.
Top that.
It glows.
Why is it always dog?
Why is it always dog?
So they set up shop. I assume you guys are going to be in town if you're waiting around the 5 Under 4 company ready to head out.
Yeah, we'll probably have went to them not knowing the troop was about to head that way and was like, hey, we just worked with you guys. You know we're reliable. We killed a monster. You want to hire us again?
Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, whenever we leave, we'll hire you. And
So you're in town in the square. The first day you roll up, there's a couple guys that point at everyone and go, hey. And then it's mostly peaceful, but then the troupe comes in and they set up and they put on their show, Comedy of Hearts Entwined. That's Entwined. That's the name.
the Big Feet Show.
If it were Disney, it would just be Entwined.
God, I'm so tired of that shit.
No, it's not Disney. There are no minions here. But that's not Disney.
Derek!
That's DreamWorks.
They're all the same.
How dare.
How dare you have just riled the anger inside me.
There's a mouse out there that is so angry at you.
Okay.
The mouse can suck it. But you see them set up shop and they put on the play again, and the people love it. Like, it's a smash hit. Of course, alcohol is flowing.
I am not drinking.
You're not drinking this time.
Nug will drink this time.
You get solicited by another tattoo artist.
No.
No.
And the show is just a hit. I mean, I know you guys are like, oh, that's kind of, dumb
Stupid.
humor. But like for this crowd, it hits all the
They know their
vibrations.
audience.
It's a bunch of teenagers making sex jokes.
Yeah. And then they get, they get such a good performance that they also do an encore with Steamboat Willie. No, but they put on a good show, and then they hit the road, and you don't see them again. They head out, and then after about a week, Tomard hits you guys up and he says, "All right, ready to go again?"
Oh, oi.
Now this one's going to be fun, folks. We're heading towards the Mahakam mountain range.
Mahakam? Mm-hmm. That's the Elderland, isn't it?
Yeah, Dwarven homeland.
Ooh, Nug.
We're going to be hitting the road as long as you're with us. You know the deal, free room and board. And then for the purposes of how this downtime's going to work, you can each take 50 crowns as security payment.
Okay. I assume that as we travel, we'll find places to spend stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Effectively, you're going to have about 2 weeks, which is why you're getting paid less of downtime before we get into stuff. So I know I've prompted you before we started recording what you wanted to do with your time, and then you're also going to be able to buy and sell some things. And because Tomart is a magical curio dealer, you're going to have access to some more rare items. And because part of this downtime will take you into the Mahakam Mountains, you're going to have access to certain weapons and stuff that may be rare there as well. So, what do you guys want to do with this time you have? I know you guys have accumulated a fair bit of wealth over the course of raiding Bill's trading company's reserves and the cockatrice fight, your last bit of time, doing some selling, and then this little adventure. Is there anything you guys are looking to buy or any training you want to do? Let's go around the table.
Well, I know for part of my downtime, I want to do all the rolls for my crafting of the silver coating and augmentation and such.
Yeah, we passed the buck on that, so let's go ahead and get to that. What do you want to do first? I know you said you were looking to add the lighten property to the sword.
Yes, to increase the accuracy.
All right, go ahead and roll augmentation then.
I got a 20.
So you're good. Go ahead and add +1 weapon accuracy to your Witcher sword.
Hey, that's nice.
That's pretty good. And then you also wanted to silver coat it?
Yes. This is the one I'm spending my luck on.
All right.
And maybe even my bottle cap. I'm going to spend my bottle cap too. I'm going to spend my bottle cap and my luck.
All right, then
I don't want anything bad to happen to this.
And roll silver coating. Whoa. That's a fumble on the first one, so good use of the cap.
It's a good thing I used my cap.
At the very least,
if I fumble,
it still wouldn't have broken the weapon.
Right.
It would damage my weapon if I had fumbled, though.
Yeah.
It would have?
Yes.
Oh.
I think it's only if you fail.
Yeah, it's only if you fail, but that breaks the weapon.
Yeah.
The silver coating is harsh.
All right.
I think that's part of what makes it more balanced.
Yeah.
You have to really succeed. And the other one was a 22.
Okay, so...
Nice.
And I had to make DC 16 unless it's extra high because of the weapon's properties.
All right, so you beat it... Yeah, it's not extra high, so you beat it by 6. How many extra D6s?
2d6.
I get 2d6 because I get 3...
Yeah, you add +1 D6 for every 3 points,
you roll
so that's
over.
2.
Yeah.
Cool. So now you have...
Which is kind of funny, because if you roll less than a 16,
That was really
you
stressful.
break the armor. If you roll between a 16 and a 19,
You just do
then
nothing.
you do nothing.
Yeah.
And then you have to beat it by 3 to actually have an effect.
Yeah, it's weird, but there you go. So...
Beyond
okay.
doing damage to monsters.
No, even then, because that's not how the swords
Yeah.
actually work in this game.
Yeah, the way the sword again works is the base damage is always going to be halved, and then you have silver damage as a separate number you roll, and that all goes through. But the base damage is still going to be halved. Cool. So now you have a superior sword than every Witcher roaming the continent because of this awesome skill.
I imagine that Witchers in this continent probably know about this.
It's the old ways.
Could you roll to make my legs better? My
Of
trousers?
course I could if you want me to, but
Awesome.
Please.
I got spend all my luck, so you better spend your own if you want any
Well, I
help.
can't, but it's also an easy check. You just have to get a 14.
Augmentation is a very easy check. What would you like me to do for them?
The +2 SP. I think
So
that's
what's
14.
Is it 14?
I believe so. I don't have it pulled up, but I just looked a while back.
I got it pulled up right here. For armor,
Yep.
yeah, that is 14. So you need 15 or better.
Oh, no, 14 or better.
No,
15, 'cause you have to beat it.
the
Oh,
DC.
beat the DC, so you can't
I
match
got a
it.
35. Don't worry about
You're
it.
good.
If only that were your silver roll.
Yeah, really. Spicy.
I wish.
So,
If I got that on the silver roll, I might have beat Nug.
Uh-huh.
Nug be like, can I have your sword?
yeah, so go ahead and add the +2 SP to your new Lyrian Witcher pants. And we can
here you go,
say,
Nug.
as part of doing this augmentation, you
They're
also
capris.
altered it for Nug.
They're capris now.
The cut's a little funny because it was built for someone a lot taller, but it works. The waist size is just right.
That means the SP on Nug's legs is 18.
Dang.
Nugs had enough leg trouble.
Nug's legs are looking fine.
His short, stubby little legs look good.
I'm right armored.
Awesome. Okay, so that's that. And yes, Jacob, to your point earlier, whenever you roll against a DC in this game, the way it works is you have to beat it. You always have to beat a DC, unlike other games where you have to hit it.
Nice to know.
So that is that. Nug, is there any, or Ina, excuse me, is there anything else you wanted to do?
I wanted to train in a skill.
All right. What skill?
I've been debating what I could do and what would be useful. I've thought about upping my charisma. I have also thought about seeing if there's anyone who could train me in wilderness survival too.
Okay.
Because I already have 2 points in wilderness survival, so it'd have to be somebody who can beat me on that. But I have no charisma. So one of those two is what I was down to.
Yeah. So what is Nug's wilderness survival? Not great.
My intelligence alone makes it beat.
Okay.
Wilderness survival is total base of 6.
I would argue that you have a guide who could potentially beat me in my wilderness survival skills.
Yeah, we do. I think it was Blandon was your guide.
Blandon could potentially beat me in it, and then
what is
Viv could definitely beat her in charisma.
So what is your wilderness survival base?
12.
And your intelligence is...
My wilderness survival base is like 2.
The base is the combined number, but how is
12.
that? How is that broken down?
2 points skill and 10 points intelligence.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to teach you.
Then I'll take the charisma from Viv.
All right, so I have a 4 in charisma and a 2 in education.
Well, would you have anything in teaching?
Teaching, 1.
1 in teaching?
Yeah.
So 4 charisma, 1 in teaching.
Yeah.
You can bring Ineth up to, I think, 2 like that, unfortunately.
That would still be better than 0.
Sure. Then, yeah, go ahead and take the time to do that. How do you think this looks as you guys are traveling? For context here, the charisma skill as like defined in the book.
Seduce me.
That's the seduction skill.
I'm not asking for seduction practice.
Oh, wait, I thought you were into different kind of charisma.
It's like becoming the life of the party and making friends and such.
Ineth wants to get trained in charisma. Viverwin brings lingerie.
Popular.
The way charisma is defined, it's an empathy skill, is getting along with people. At base 10, you can make friends pretty easily at your local tavern. Base 13, you're a very likable person. It's rare for you to make enemies. Base 16, you're the life of the party, and it's hard for anyone to stay mad at you for long. At base 20, you could convince a raging troll to sit down for a pint over a game of Gwent.
I like how charisma and persuasion are 2 different things in this game. Charisma is basically you're making friends, whereas persuasion is you're convincing people to do something.
And
I kind of like that.
What that training will do, it'll bring me from base 5 to base 7.
I'm
still not even good at making friends at the local tavern.
Well, I tell you, to continue on what you were saying, Jacob, as a GM, I like that charisma, persuasion, and seduction are all different things.
Yes.
Because in some of our games, they've all been rolled from the same skill.
Well, I mean, they all are the same skill in like Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, I like that being separated quite a lot because then it's very interesting to see who takes the time and precious resources to put points into seduction.
But I would say that in Ineth,
for context, Drow just held up 4 fingers.
for Ineth, building up her charisma and empathy and the like, I would say she realized she wasn't able to connect very well with all the people they've been trying to help.
Right.
And Viv was able to. So she goes to Viv and she's like, Viv, can you teach me to empathize with people?
We can find out.
I'm going to say Nug overhears that. and he kicks open the flap of the wagon.
I kick him out.
I know how to make friends too.
I boot him right in the face. I boot him right in the face.
You need beer. I mean, I'm just saying, Nug does have a 4 charisma, so.
Oh, gee.
Nug gets shoved away. All right.
Yeah.
I get it.
That happens, and I just boot him out.
And I'm just like uncomfortable about asking, but wants to learn. She's a nice person, but according to her stats, she is not good at making friends.
Nobody believes her niceness. They think that she's doing something with it.
Maybe that's it. Maybe she's not convincing, or she's just that socially awkward from living in the woods.
She's the only human in a group of elves and dwarves.
And they can do better with humans than she can.
Right.
So she wants help.
Well,
Make me popular.
well, you see, whenever I see someone less fortunate than I, and let's face it, who isn't less fortunate than I?
Visual humor. Drow just flicked their hair.
I'm not. No, wait. You kicked me out. I shouldn't.
Shut up! You still got my boot in your mouth.
Is it the toughest case you've ever seen? Toughest case you've yet to face?
And when someone needs a makeover, I simply have to take over. A good way to make friends is to have good boundaries as to what you're going to accept.
Good friends meaning having boundaries.
Yes. You need to respect yourself, and you need to respect other people. I think that you're doing well with that already, but don't be a pushover.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, I see.
Do you? Or are you just agreeing?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Teach me.
That's where we start.
Teach me.
That's where we start.
In which the Minnesota nice person learns to have a bit more of a backbone.
All right. So, part of this downtime and traveling with this company.
Wait. Less op, more nope.
Oh my God. So part of the downtime traveling with this troop obviously is hitting up different villages and doing trading. And obviously you're going to run into taverns, some with more, party-like crowds on some nights than others. Maybe this can also be a point of practice for Ineth with Viverwin.
Do you see that lonely-looking man over there? I want you to go talk to him and have a pleasant conversation.
Oh, hello there.
Hello there.
Towering over.
Yeah, but over the course of this time, you've learned how to get a better read on people. You learn how to be more warm around people, and go ahead and take your charisma up by 2.
Yay! Now they actually believe that I'm nice.
All right, and Nug, I know we already kind of did a little bit of what you wanted to do with getting your armor improved. Is there anything specifically you want to do in downtime or buy?
There is an armor set that I want to get Nug. And to get that, it is rare.
What is the set?
The Dwarven Cloak Set, which has a head, torso, arms, and legs, at the cost of 1,400.
Oh!
Whoa!
Nug's current armor base price is 800, but I want you to keep in mind that Nug's current armor has also been augmented.
Right.
Each of them have +2 SP to what their base price is. One of the legs has taken a point of damage. Everything else is
before
perfect.
he sells it.
Well, you just got new leg armor.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that is from the loot. This is my original base armor.
Okay.
Because that one's worth almost 600 by itself. But if we did that, I'd feel like we need to split it amongst the party because it's from The Witcher.
Right.
And that would make me feel good. So my question is, can Nug, with these dwarven tradesmen going to the Dwarven Mountains,
Dwarven.
find a dwarf cloak set of armor?
I mean, I was able to find an elven walking stick. It makes sense that you would be able to find something dwarven specific.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're heading into the Mahaka mountain range, and there's a lot of dwarven settlements, and this is where those items are.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can absolutely buy it. It is available to you, but I don't know how you're going to fund it. Do you want to sell?
The armor Nug currently has.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Nug will sell. Now, my question is, base price for Nug's armor is 800. Will you give me more because it is augmented to be even better, even though it's taken no damage whatsoever, except for one, which took 1 point?
Which I could fix before you sold it.
There's no mechanical value associated with that.
Yeah, this
Okay.
isn't Pathfinder, buddy.
Hey, listen, it never hurts to
Well,
try.
I mean, couldn't you make up the difference in coin?
Here's an idea.
Whoa.
Why don't you take out a loan and buy Mahakam plate armor?
See, that's got an
Okay.
encumbrance value.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, but look at the SP on
I
that.
know.
Here's the thing. I have a structured settlement and I need cash now.
Call JG Pondsmith.
Well, here's a fun question. Here's an
877
interesting question about armor.
crowns
If your
now.
head, your legs, and your torso all have encumbrance value of 2, is that a total encumbrance value of 6? Which at that point would be a -6 to my dex. Goof. I couldn't hit anything like that.
I honestly have no idea.
Which is why I'm going for the Dwarven Cloak, because it has no encumbrance value.
That's probably a good idea. And I mean, at the same time, if you get the augmentation to get a +2 on it,
That'll bring it up to 18.
which would be better than your armor anyway,
Oh,
right?
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
it'll actually match my legs. The other thing is, do either of you want the legs then? Because the Witcher's leg set has no encumbrance value, so it would not affect magic at all if the mage took it. But it's got an SP value of 18 right now because of the augmentation. So if you got hit in your legs, it's 18 points of damage negated. Up to.
Dang, that's a lot of negated damage.
Yeah.
Would one of you like that? Because they're very good armor.
Do they beat yours, Viv? You've taken more leg damage than me.
I'm okay with what I've got right now. My legs are currently at 16.
My legs
they're
are at
actually-
10. So
then, yeah, you take
I'll
them.
take them happily.
Yeah.
I
Alright. So this is-
unhem them back down to Witcher length.
Okay, and so Nug will sell his armor for an even 800,
Okay.
and then he'll apply that to the Dwarven Cloak, which will bring it down to
600.
600, and then Nug will just buy it because he has enough to buy that.
Cool. Yeah. So this probably happens towards the end of your trip. You've crossed over the Pontar River, which is kind of a dangerous affair because that's like where the front lines are. But Mahakam is kind of a neutral zone. So the border of the mountain range goes down to like the river, and you find a safe place to cross. And you're with Tamard. Generally, a lot of humans or non-dwarves really don't go to the Mahakam Mountains very much, but you're kind of carried along into it. Haven't hit any of the major settlements, but you've hit some of the smaller towns on the outside, and you find an armorer there who has no plate armor, but this cloak set, and it is badass.
And Nug will then ask Viv to, will ask Ineth to alter it.
All right, go ahead and make me a augmentation roll, Ineth.
Submit. 26.
Awesome.
Way beat.
Crushed it. Yeah, so
That's going to be the head.
no, it's a whole set. I'm just going to let it pass.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Great.
so go ahead and add +2. So you're at 18 SP for all of your armor zones.
And then with my dwarf ability, 20.
Jesus Christ. That is a lot of armor.
So I want to buy some armor, but
Okay.
one of the pieces I want to buy is kind of rare. So I wanted to ask about it.
What is the piece?
I want to get a Lyrian leather jacket to match my Lyrian leather trousers.
Okay, so where Nug's armor was dwarven and it was more available here, this one's going to be a luck roll. So would you like high or low on a d6?
Hi.
I rolled a 6.
Hey!
Does that mean I can?
Yeah, you can go ahead and get it.
Yes! Yay! I'm going to have
Huzzah.
good armor.
Find one in a thrift shop, but it costs full price.
Well, I was going to say, with the help of Tamard, I managed to find someone who's selling one.
I'm going to pop some tags.
I got $20.
Got 20 crowns in my pocket.
20
The question is, what do I do with my old armor? Do I sell it? Do I just get rid of it?
Yeah, you can sell
Yeah,
it.
trade it in.
Full price.
Really?
Yeah, this game's generous when it comes to selling stuff.
That's amazing. I was like thinking half, quarter.
Gone are the days of Pathfinder's half value.
I mean, this the same in this game, and I think also in like Forbidden Lands. Like, you just sell things for their value.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. Pathfinder's stingy.
It's important for balance. I understand.
I know, but it sucks.
Yeah.
And then Starfinder's even worse.
Starfinder's horrible.
Starfinder is atrocious.
Don't mind me as I scoff.
Yeah, really.
I also want to buy an armored hood, but that's common, so that shouldn't be a big deal.
No problem buying that.
And I also want to augment my new armor.
Okay, go ahead and make me an augmentation roll.
I'm going to buy all this armor and not get into a single fight.
I'm gonna pop some tags.
21.
21. So you're good. Go ahead and take
For both?
that'll be, because your pieces are separate, that'll be for the head.
Okay, I'll take... No, can I take that for the body?
Yeah, sure. And then roll again for the head.
I make it both times.
All right. So yeah, you can increase the SP by 2 for the body and the head. What does your stopping power look like now for your body and head?
My head will now be 16.
Woof.
And then my body will now be 18.
Nice. What did you have on your head beforehand?
I had a double woven hood,
Okay.
and my armor was brigandine.
Okay. Yeah. So you're getting a nice.
I took a nice little upgrade.
Yeah.
So a nice 16, 18, 18.
All right. So that's armor
I know it's harder to kill.
for you and Nug. Is there anything else either of you like to do, or
Nug, if you don't mind, will actually, he'll do some simple training
okay?
if we're going to be traveling for a while.
I'll let you do one skill to take from 0 to 2. What would you like to take up? Seduction.
I'm thinking about it. Nug learns how to wiggle the eyebrows. Oh no! Nug will be like, "Your Viverwin,
Yes.
you's good with the talking and whatnot.
Yes.
Is you good with the lying? Or you teach me how to lie?
No.
Oh,
That was a lie.
So Viv is doing a lot of teaching during her
and
downtime.
Nug will bring his deceit up to 2.
Awesome. Okay. Viverwin, what do you want to do on your downtime? Is there anything you want to buy, sell, train
Yes.
on?
I want a glyph of fire, which is something that I have to put on one of my armor slots. And because of my specific sets of armor, I have 2 slots available.
So you want this glyph of fire? Because you're traveling with Tomard, I will say that you have access to this.
Okay.
Because he likes dealing in these magic items. So that's 575 crowns. And then I believe your leg armor and chest armor or torso armor have enhancement slots. And at least going by the rules in the core rulebook, you get the glyph and you inscribe it onto one of your pieces of armor.
Yeah.
So fire will raise the DC. It'll
To the
either
spells that I cast by 1.
when wearing this armor, you either raise your spell DCs by 3, or your spell damage increases by 1d6, but it only applies to fire spells.
So you're having someone use the RuneWrite tools. You will get a +1 to your DC all the time.
Yeah.
And whenever you cast a fire spell, you get to choose whether to increase the DC by an additional 3 or do an additional 1d6 of damage. So +1 forever, and then either +3 to DC or +1d6 damage.
For fire spells.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it says in the little side section, whenever you cast magic while wearing a glyph, you get to choose which bonus applies. So you don't choose when you put it on.
Now,
you
the
choose when you
RuneWrite
cast.
part of that is from the
Tome of Chaos.
Tome of Chaos.
Tome of Chaos.
I'll just say for
You said 520?
575.
Okay.
For sake of ease, that Tomard has this. It's part of his traveling gig. So he's able to etch it in. So you're going to get +1 to all your DCs, and then you can either how does that interact with the fire specific ones? Do you lose the +1 but gain the +3 specific to fire, or is it
I can
on top
choose,
of it?
apparently. I can choose, apparently.
It looks like it stacks. The +1 is always there, and for fire, the additional benefits.
Okay. So whenever you make a spell casting roll for like Anya, your fireball, I'm going to have to beat that by more because of this. Or you can choose to add a d6 to the damage. Pretty cool. Let's The listeners would like to know that Jacob and I just did a tax's worth of research because Tome of Chaos threw a monkey wrench into this.
That's more for the catching up.
Yeah. All right. So is there anything else you want to do on Downtime, or just is that the main thing you wanted to invest in?
That's it.
One last question. Can I buy some alchemical ingredients?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you looking to craft anything alchemically, or do you want to buy some like pre-made alchemical
Buy
items?
pre-made ones.
Sure. What do you want to get?
Acid solution. The ones that are common, like base powder and all that, I know I could get just easily.
Yeah.
But the acid solution, that was the one I wanted that I was worried about not being able to get because it's got poor availability.
Yeah, I'll say you can get that.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. So that's going to conclude our Downtime. Had some nice chance to spend all that cash you guys earned up.
Dollar bills.
I got a couple of, what's the word?
Drip.
Practical use alchemical items. Hallucinogen, base powder, acid solution,
Drip.
stuff like that.
Awesome.
Drip potato chip.
So I'm gonna set a scene real quick here. I'm gonna pick up after you guys have spent more time on the road. Remember, I don't know if you already put this in your sheets or not, but take 50 crowns for the employment time for this downtime if you want to.
I already did it.
After about 2 weeks, you're south of the Pontar River now. You're in the Mahakam Mountains. You stop at a relatively larger town nestled in a valley in these mountains. And you do see a couple humans here. There's still... humans aren't really prevalent in this part of the world. This is the Dwarven kind of homeland. But it's not like they're not welcome here. There's just... they don't end up making it here very often. And you're doing business. You have a night at the tavern. And the next morning, you're eating lunch. This tavern is kind of like, imagine like a nice stone building with dwarven iconography and decorations on the inside. Super cool looking. You finish up your breakfast and you're sitting at the table and you see a human man come in.
You man?
Yeah. And again, you see these people, but it is a rare sight. And he looks around, goes up to the bartender, and the bartender points him in your direction. And he walks over to you and he says, "Oh, I am a courier sent by Alwyn de Clermont, quartermaster of the garrison occupying Maribor. I have a message for your crew." And you look, and this letter is before you, and it has this seal in black wax.
Oh.
I cast on you on it.
It is a...
Fuck you.
Oh no.
I just rode so far to see you guys.
I cast on you on him too.
No, but the seal, if we look at it, is a Nilfgaardian crest.
Oh.
Ooh.
And that's where we're going to pick up next week.
I still cast on you.
No, the wax.
I put my new acid solution on it.
No, the letter.
Fuck you.
Doug will look at the messenger. Oh, your story about innocence is just burning alive. Oh, it's a rough edge you've been dealt.
You'll pay for this.
It's nothing personal, kid.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Third Gallon Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing us. If you want to see more from us, check out our website, thirdgallon.com, or follow us on Twitter. We are at Third Gallon, that's THIRD Gallon. You can also tweet at us using the hashtag Third Gallon, and we are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook with the same handle, at Third Gallon. We also publish a video version of this podcast on YouTube, which you can find on our channel, The Third Gallon. Our ambience for this episode was composed by Michael Ghelfi, and you can find more of his work at youtube.com/Michael Ghelfi Music, and you can support his awesome work at patreon.com/Michael Ghelfi. Our theme music for this season was composed by Alexander Nakarada. You can find more of his work at serpentsoundstudios.com and support him at patreon.com/A Nakarada. That's patreon.com/ANAKARADA. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.